Ladies and gentlemen, part two. It's really part three, but part two this week of Top 5 coming up with you, with myself, with Mike Knox, with Zia Silent. Top 5 WrestleMania. Hey, we are in WrestleMania season. Why do we say this? Because 1 week from tomorrow, we are at WrestleMania 40 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. But let's talk about the WrestleManias 10 through 19, the top 5 WrestleManias from 10 to 19. We're going to hop right into it, and we're going to start this day with Mike Knox.
For me, guys, and welcome to the program, everybody. Please go ahead and like, follow, subscribe, smash the subscribe button. We're trying to get to 2,000 subscribers here on Unpopular Review Wrestling. So we thank you for joining us this evening for Top 5. We know it's a Friday night, a March Madness Friday night, but it's okay. North Carolina lost, so we're here to talk wrestling. So for me, everybody should know by me what my motto is when it comes to professional wrestling. It's wrestling is storyline. Not the greatest WrestleMania card, but I thought that it was the best and my favorite. Man, this is your favorite. So for me, at number 5, the match that made Stone Cold Steve Austin, and that's in WrestleMania 13, the match with him and Bret the Hitman Hart. You had Sid taking on Undertaker, and this as well, the Chicago street fight with Ahmed Johnson and friends took on Farouk in the Nation Domination, which to me was completely rated. Ahmed Johnson, friend of the program, comes out with LOD, the Legion of Doom. I just thought this WrestleMania in Chicago, not or at the Rosemont Horizon, if you will, I thought was just a very, very good overall show. I enjoyed it. Wrestling's about the enjoyment, and I don't think I've enjoyed, well, I have, but I enjoyed this one so much more. And I watched that match between Stone Cold Steve Austin, who I still to this day I'm not a fan of, just respects his work, versus my second or my 1.2 favorite wrestler of all time, Bret Hart. Just phenomenal match. Put Stone Cold on the map. It just overall, that's one of my favorite WrestleManias of all time, not just in this genre. And real fast, we talked yesterday about where the executive consultant, this guy said that back half of that 20 to 29. No, this is the best 10 years of WrestleMania from 10 to 19. Without a question to me. It's not even close. These WrestleManias all went bang, 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 bang. You'd have thought I was Pops. May he rest in peace with Lou Gossett Jr. And that's what I got for my number 4. My number 5, I'm sorry. So Z is silent. I know how this thing goes. I hit it to you, my brother.
You know what? I'm going to piggyback right off of what you're talking about right now. Same thing. I'm going with that after, because I didn't think that this was that great, right? I didn't think that was that great. So like you said,
I'm trying to walk off this early.
Listen, Jenny McCarthy and Pamela Anderson had no business being at WrestleMania, but I get it. It's the allure. It's 12 years in. So at that point, it was known for pop culture stars that were popular then. So what year was that? 95, 96? Because both of them was popular because Baywatch was on. Baywatch was on. So I'm cool with that. But like you said, I enjoyed Sid versus Undertaker very, very much. Sid is one of my favorite big men wrestlers, Pauls, of all time. And then that, saying that that's what it was that made Stone Cold, absolutely. One of my favorite matches to play in WWE 2K for the showcase. So we actually agree on our number 5. Now let's go into the cockiest of all cockiest of people.
Well, Mike already gave his number 5. Let me go ahead and start when I have to say the contradiction. First of all, hey, it's your opinion. I respect it. You're wrong, but I respect it. This stretch of WrestleMania was not. I will argue that this stretch of WrestleMania possibly is the worst if it wasn't for the fact that the last 4 WrestleManias and 30s were pretty good. Thankfully, you're muted. Now, that being said,
not even close. I'm gonna tell you why. Before you go, I'm gonna tell you why. Not just myself, who you say I'm wrong. I'm gonna tell you why the majority says you're wrong. Because if you look at the major matches that took place from 10 to 19, the major matches, not the overall cards, right? The major matches are historically is the ones that people talk about. From WrestleMania 10 through there. Like you got the Shawn Michaels Iron Man. I get you may not be. I know you hate that match personally. We've talked about that before. But arguably those matches are the ones that are the stable outside of the first two, 3 and 4 and 6 from the 80s. Those came in. People love those matches. Like fans love those matches. I mean, come on, dog. You don't like nothing. Okay, I don't even think you like strawberry jelly. So, I mean,
I know.
Damn, who the hell don't like strawberry jelly? This guy.
A lot of humans. Look, so let's go ahead and continue to talk about the WrestleManias that made the least amount of attention and money in history. So, first one we're going to talk about, in my opinion, actually was headlined by a wrestler I think is completely overrated. But it was headlined by him, and I think it was a really good WrestleMania, including having possibly one of the best opening matches of WrestleMania history. And that's WrestleMania 10 in Madison Square Garden with Bret Hart and Owen Hart. Now, granted, they had a they had a good match between Macho Man and Randy Savage, as well as Crush in there. The Bret Hart Yokozuna match was okay. The Lex Luger versus Yokozuna match was okay. The return of Mr. Perfect, the return of Roddy Piper. But, I'm going to go ahead and throw this in there simply because of the fact that, just like Mike said yesterday, sometimes I like anniversaries. That 25th was a bust, don't get me wrong. But 10 also had the ladder match.
It was 10.
Between Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon that transcended all ladder matches even to today. So I'm going to go ahead and give that match and that card the respect it deserves by putting it at my number 5. Mike Knox, what's your number 4?
Number 4 for me, as we keep this speed thing going, you had it at number 5. Simply, it's number 4 for me. It is the 10th anniversary to me. I did think the opening match between Bret and Owen was phenomenal. We're talking about the best there is, the best there was. In my opinion, the best ever will be inside that square circle, not named Kurt Angle, to perform. And I thought him and Owen, they always had great matches. I thought this was not their better match. We talked about this last year during our WrestleMania time. They had a match that took place on Coliseum Video that I thought was better than this, at a cage match. But this match still was great. The story was great. The ending where Bret does win and Owen comes out the curtain was just phenomenal. And then again, as I just spoke about it, the other matches, they can be forgettable. But what's not forgettable and what's overlooked is they say it was the first, but it wasn't. But it's the first one WWE put on a televised program, and that is that ladder match. And the best part about that ladder match is they used one freaking ladder. This wasn't like they used a day where they pull out ladders after ladders after ladders. They used one ladder. I think maybe two. I think the one broke and they put another one in, but that was it. Did it's a whole entire match. So for me, WrestleMania 10, it just holds a special place in my heart. You know what I mean? Sort of like, leave it right there, but definitely holds a place in my heart for WrestleMania 10 for me. So that's my number 4, WrestleMania 10. The Z is silence on you.
Surprisingly, actually, it's not surprising. As much as great as those matches were on 10, they're not on my list. Only because I couldn't even get pay-per-views when 10 was out. Like I couldn't get them.
That was still closed circuit TV.
I couldn't get them, right? So that wasn't a thing that like I was able to watch. But most of what I am going off of in my memories of what I liked, I'm going with 17. What can be said about Edge, Christian, Dudley Boys, Hardy Boys? I thought Undertaker, Triple H, then Stone Cold Rock. Like, come on, Stone Cold Rock is always my top rivalry ever. What?
No, he was.
At this point, I'm going to put all of his reactions and his opinions up there with Vinny. Like the only thing that you guys know,
shout out to Mike Knox.
One in the cheesesteak and you and how to wear a pair of sunglasses. Because at
Mike
this point in time,
Knox said he saw me looking up and he said, "Oh, Dice is down there because he thought I was looking at you crazy." I'm not looking at you crazy. I'm looking up because I'm looking for sense. And I know if I look down, I'm not going to find it.
You cannot sit up here and I quote, this is how this man contradicts himself. Listen. In the chat today, when I said WrestleMania 29 really wasn't that bad, and he goes, Then he tell me my opinion was bad. He told me my opinion was bad. Then to start the show, he tells me, "Oh, I respect your opinion." You don't respect anybody's opinion.
I respect your opinion
opinion
as a human being. I don't respect the fact that you do drugs and it convolutes your sense of.
He does not do drugs.
No, that's
He
not.
does. He has to. Anytime you put WrestleMania 17 at number 4, he has to be doing drugs.
I think it's pretty low too. But it's his list, so I think it's pretty low. That's all I'm saying. I don't think it's not worthy of being there. And, spoiler alert, I have it in my list, and it's damn sure not at 4.
That's fine.
That's all. But again, it's your opinion. I'm not going to knock it. It's just in your top.
Go ahead. I apologize for interrupting.
I'm good. What is your number 4?
Pick.
I'm good. What is your number 4?
My number 4 actually happened immediately after WrestleMania.
I got my fatigue jacket on because I'm going to war today. I was expecting this.
Go get Nori out here.
Soldier.
WrestleMania 18 is my pick.
Oh
right?
My God.
So
he got a PDF. He got a
PDF for the first time.
My lord.
We ain't been doing them in a while, but okay.
You know what? Just to appease y'all, most of my shit's not from this point on is going to be that way because y'all get on my damn nerves. Okay, all right.
We are visual.
You get on my. I don't care what y'all are. You know what I do? I make it make sense. WrestleMania 18, right, was one of the greatest WrestleManias of all time. However, what it lacked was cohesive booking. What I mean by that is the fact that the match that everybody talks about from WrestleMania 18 is Hollywood Hulk Hogan versus not Hollywood Rock.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
You apologize. Go ahead.
Nah, go ahead. I want to hear this.
I've been waiting for you to apologize for your last
I want to hear this soliloquy. No, I'm not apologizing for that take. The Rock. You need to apologize for putting this at number 4, but go ahead. Please go into
The Rock. It was tough. It almost got number 5. The Rock and Hulk Hogan tore the house down this particular night. Now, granted, Stone Cold and Scott Hall had a pretty good match. Jericho and Triple H, Kurt Angle and Kane, Booker T and freaking Edge. It was fine, but it still wasn't living up to the WrestleMania that it needed to be. Possibly because they also used half the time to promote their damn freakish Reckless Intent CD. And it messed up some entrances for me. But besides that, WrestleMania in Toronto did a fantastic job, and it is my number 4. Dyson, if we can get you for your number 3.
Oh, number 3? My number 3, I'm piggybacking right off of that. I can't believe you disrespected WrestleMania 18 in the passing of icons, and you're gonna put it there? Like, come on, man. The disrespect. You're gonna disrespect 17 and 18? Man, oh my gosh, I can't. Top to bottom how was the show? Top to bottom, how was the show? And everybody in the chat and you too, Mike. I got an idea for a show. I like to do it on a Friday since there's no Friday shows. Let's call it flashbacks, flashback reviews. Let's randomly pick a pay-per-view that people think is terrible, and then is it really that terrible? Because I thought 29. I'm gonna keep holding this. 29 was not that bad. So I don't think 17 was that bad. 18 definitely was better than 17. But hey, I digress. NWO.
Digress to what? Crack? Ain't no way in hell 18 was better than 17. No way in hell.
You know what I find hilarious about
the people in Toronto wouldn't tell you that. The people in Toronto will cross.
When you guys do a show together, right? You know what I get? It's just me, right? As he says, I'm the most arrogant person he knows. I don't crap. It's your opinion.
By far.
It's your opinion. You can't be wrong. You can't diss him for it. You can't say, oh, that's retarded. You're smoking.
Let's keep it a bean. Let's keep it a buck. No Diddy. Let's keep it a buck. No Diddy. Everybody has a valuable opinion except for Vinny.
Listen, my number 3 right now, I got you both a little different, but what else do you think? Of course, I got 18 number 3. No lie, I do. But I disagree with some of the takes in which the executive consultant put there. I thought this pay-per-view was pretty damn good. I'm a Triple H mark. That whole storyline with him and Stephanie McMahon was just amazing going into this WrestleMania. Sometimes it's not about how if the match necessarily translate how you want it to translate in the squared circle, but did it finish the story? Did it tell the story? Did it start the story? Did it continue it? And I thought that did this. Like you said, H taking on The Rock. Listen, as I say on every single time we do a WrestleMania show, anytime we do anything when it comes to the history of professional wrestling, that man belongs on every list. Because without him, we wouldn't be having a show or talking wrestling if not for Mr. HH. But then
even
you go
in
back
that point of time, right? I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
Looking at the set list. I mean, the set list. Jesus, the match card.
Yeah.
Even the European Championship was a big deal.
Yes, it was.
DDP versus Christian.
Yep.
Right, like that in the European matches, intercontinental matches, they were great in that attitude, ruthless aggression crossover era. Like
I thought that was the weakest match on the card though, because DDP wasn't fully healthy at that time, and Christian was trying to come into his own at that time.
But to be a weak match on a strong card, it's still a strong card, right?
Still a strong card. So
if you want that match to start off, because the match card can only get better.
True.
Which is why, again, I don't know why you don't like 29 if you're saying Alberto Del Rio and Jack Swagger don't belong on a card, but the card got better the whole night.
I let you get me, but I have to continue to go now.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's all right. I was done. I just didn't want you to talk about 29 no more.
I did forget about Ric Flair Undertaker, which is a great match. I love that match so much. Also,
I don't think he's telling the truth. What's your number three?
No, I'm telling the 1% truth. I think Ric Flair versus Undertaker WrestleMania 18 was much better than CM Punk versus Undertaker WrestleMania 29. I will say that. I loved it. I enjoyed it. Yeah. Get your ass up and walk. Because I think it was a great match. I enjoyed it. I'm not smoking. That CM Punk versus Undertaker match was overrated.
Come on, man.
It was overrated. It was good, but it was overrated. I don't get it. I don't get why people love that match as much as they do. Right.
Okay.
And 18 was a phenomenal card. I don't know.
I'm gonna say something.
I didn't say something. I
Let
did not say
me-
something.
Out of that match.
Hold on. Let me stop you there, Z, because I think I'm the biggest CM Punk mark on this stage.
That's for sure.
As a CM Punk mark, I also, Chris, I've always thought that match was overrated as well. I'm not saying it's not good, but the way that fans
I didn't say it wasn't
clamor
good.
towards that, the way fans
I didn't say it wasn't good.
never said it wasn't a good match. I'm not saying that. I'm not even saying that you're right about Flair and Taker. That's your opinion.
Debatable
and I also think that was one of the better matches that Flair put on towards that tail end of his career. So I give you that. I don't think it's better than that match at all, but I like Punk. As a matter of fact, I love CM Punk. I think that's my Mania shirt, and he's not even going to be at Mania. But that match of Taker, the fans really do put it on a pedestal, and I'm just not one of the people put it on that pedestal as far as Punk match is concerned. Good match, but I want maybe because I wanted more from it, I didn't get it. But that's my number three. What's your number three, executive consultant?
I'll also say this, that the main reason why I say Flair, I think it was better, was simply because of the fact that of commentating. I think Jim Ross just did a good job. Jim Ross and Jay Lawler did a good job commentating that match. And that's what I really remember, that and Ric Flair bleeding and Arn Anderson's spine buster, and it was I just thought it was great. But I also would have felt my part. I never said WrestleMania 18 was a bad card. I just don't think it was up there, but I think it was still a good card. WrestleMania 14 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, ironically, is my number three. And let me say
15 was in Philadelphia, not 14.
15, you're right. 14, Boston, Massachusetts. I put shit.
You put up 10, though.
Yeah, I did put up 10. Thank you so much. WrestleMania 14 is my pick for it, simply because of the fact that you know what, I can see that, because once again, this is another one that I think is just getting up there simply because of the fact that what it represents. Okay. This was a big gamble for WWE and Vince McMahon for WrestleMania 14. They put the rest of their money they had pretty much in the WrestleMania 14. If WrestleMania 14 failed, as Mike just said, we would not be sitting here, right? We wouldn't be. WWE would have went out of business. I'm not sure we would do it for WCW. I'm not sure. Maybe not. We'll see. We would have seen. Can't see it. But let me read this real quick. Double H versus Vince McMahon. Look, a Vince McMahon match. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. A Vince McMahon match. You know why? Because he had great matches, sir. Great matches.
You already walked off.
You already walked off. You used your one card.
I'm waiting for the charm, because I already walked off twice. It was almost there, but
Vince,
you know what? I'm not.
Vince McMahon put on good matches, and he put on good WrestleManias, so I will always respect Vince McMahon. 14 was a good WrestleMania.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I point to the stage Vince McMahon versus Bret Hart?
One.
Come on, that's one, and that's when Bret could not wrestle. Bret could not wrestle at that time. That's not fair assessment in fairness. And
should have been on a WrestleMania
and 14, put that back up for me, Chris, that match card, because like I said, it was no. Do you have the match card? You had it up there.
He's
Listen,
not looking on the side.
that dumpster match with the New Age Outlaws was insane. Loved it. Okay, I hate as much as because I'm a Shawn Michaels is my favorite of all time. That's why I hate Steve Austin. He took on all my legends. Okay, but that match, Shawn could barely wrestle and put on a hell of a match. We get Kane and Taker for the first time. Okay, that was great. We got Rock at that time. Like this card is so underrated, including Mr. S.A. Rios down there. Lita took his whole shine from him.
But it was very good. It was good, and it actually turned the tide, so to speak, because 2 weeks later, Raw finally overtook the ratings for Nitro. That one time, and then they lost. So like the next one or two, and then they came back. But the bottom line is, so because of that respect, WrestleMania 14, and I forgot, you're right. I don't know why I said that. WrestleMania 15 was actually in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and they got that because this was before WrestleMania started getting the bits that they get now, where cities try to go for it. They got that because what Raw actually won the ratings was the one where all Stone Cold Steve Austin was supposed to face Vince McMahon in the main event of the match, and it was in the city of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
I just remember Philadelphia so much because I remember being there and was like, I'm going. There's no way I'm not going to WrestleMania. There's no way. And, $2,000. And I look at that now, like $2,000 for a front row, my black ass should have went. Because today's front row culture about 10. Okay.
That might be true, but at the same time, $2,000 back then is a lot different.
Nah, actually, truth be told, at that time, I was doing things I'm proud to say.
All right, let's go ahead with your number 2.
No ass today?
Oh,
okay.
Dice too.
No ass today? Gotcha.
Number 2, y'all laughed at me yesterday because I started the show off wrong. Oh, that was real. Listen, never mind. WrestleMania 2000 had a video game named after it.
That's my favorite video game. That's my favorite video game.
That's what I'm talking about. McMahon and Everett Kona skill. That was outrageous. I remember watching and people had their favorite McMahon, but their favorite McMahon wasn't with their favorite wrestler. And the parents he's like, I kind of like this McMahon, but I like this wrestler, but this wrestler's with this McMahon. I remember not knowing who I was going to go for. I thought that this was pretty dope, right? And then the tag match. Oh my, you know what? I can't. I'm gonna stop doing shows with this man. Somebody else go. You number 2.
Number two for me. I gotta keep the party going because we had some disses here earlier, and I just wasn't gonna stand for that hypocrisy. But for me, number 19 is my number 2. Kurt Angle and Brock Lesnar. I mean, need we say more? The man almost killed himself trying to do a shooting star press off the ropes. Austin Rock, the first time Rock actually beats Austin at a WrestleMania. HH and McMahon was 30 years in the making, 25 years in the making. Great. Shawn and Chris Jericho. You talk about, to me, again, my opinion, that's all that matters because I'm the one that's speaking and it's my list. Pound for pound, I would put this card up against any card in the history of WrestleMania. That's how good I thought that card was in those matches. Look at the talent, the legends that are on that match. It did not fail in any way to me to deliver, and I was on the edge of my chair in my home. Because at that point, I had to get up off the couch, get a chair, move in front of my floor model TV because I always thought I was big things are popping, big things here. So that pay-per-view, amazing. I loved it. That's my number 2, WrestleMania 19. Fucks with it.
That's actually my number 1. Go ahead, Chris. Go ahead.
All right.
What does the executive contradictor have for us right now?
It's nothing.
Make that a logo.
You know what? We've done top 5 WrestleMania matches before, and when we did top 5 WrestleMania matches before, let me tell you, my top 5. The order sometimes changes. Mike knows what I say. Sometimes
I take that for you.
But the actual events never do.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I'm saying. The order changes, but the events never do. And my number 2 and my number 1. So this is one thing I'll say, yeah, maybe this is a contradiction. Dice.
We're all a walking contradiction.
But I will say this. The next 2 always will be in my top 5, right? Even though I said this was the worst block, the next 2 always will be in my top 5. And my number 2 is exactly what Mike Knox just said. And Dice puts his number 1, WrestleMania 19. Why is WrestleMania 19? Mike just said it so eloquently himself. That card, my God, that card. And this is one I successfully, not trying to brag because of the, how old I was at the time or anything like that, successfully booked the order of matches because that card was too fire not to do it. That card only needed, it was Triple H booking. He likes booking on these little stupid quantity matches for a pay-per-view. All he needed was the top 5 matches in that pay-per-view, and he would have made your money. Chris Jericho versus fucking Shawn Michaels. And you know what? That's still my favorite match of the two, in my opinion. I know a lot of people like the little ladder match, all this stuff.
No,
that match
by far this one
was my favorite match. Only I normally can do stuff that fast. It's impressive, Dice. Thank you.
That's what she said. He set yourself up for that one.
He set himself up a lot because now payback is coming. There's something called a receipt that you're going to get, Mr. Walkoff. But the match between Hulk Hogan and Vince McMahon, absolutely fire. Even though I don't like the outcome, Triple H versus Booker T was a great match. Okay, Rock versus Austin, which I didn't think I wanted to see for a third freaking time, was a very good match. Why? Because Hollywood Rock was entertaining as hell to me, and he sold the hell out of that match. Rock was never the greatest when it comes to actually wrestling. What made The Rock good was the fact he knows how to draw. His charisma is unmatched, even in 2024. I talked to Mike, and I said when Rock came out during that surprise entrance, or he's been on there for the last 3 or 4 weeks, right?
Yeah.
When Rock came out surprised, I jumped out of my seat. And so did every one of those fans that were just chanting Rocky sucks 2 minutes before.
But they never give us any surprises. I'm sorry.
You do a good job. You
I
know how you
wanna,
do it? You don't tell everybody. That's how you get a surprise.
I want to comment right here on this comment right here because Grand Body P, the longest running show not named the best damn show on radio on Best Damn Show on Radio Networks, holding me down, hip hop show in the UK, billboards, baby, all across the country. I think, and Dice can attest to this, I am very strong in my opinions about blackness and being black and unapologetically black and things like that. One of the things I think the black wrestling contingent gets completely wrong is thinking that Booker T was going to beat Triple H. I get that the things that they did was disrespectful and off of that, maybe you felt like he should have won because, carry my bags. That's what you people do. It's like, it's pretty hard how I'm a Triple H mark when that was very cringe for me to watch that and see that. But Booker T didn't deserve to win that WrestleMania.
What? He was on a tear.
That's what y'all understand. It's not about a tear. It's about the story.
In my opinion,
it's about the story.
Right? Okay, sometimes it's about the story. Sometimes it's literally
always about the story.
No.
It is. When it comes to WWE's product, it is always about the story. If you want wrestling to be the story, that's what TNA, that's what Ring of Honor, that's what WCW is about the wrestling.
Okay.
It's about the story.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
The story. Okay. The story.
WWE. That's all I'm referring to.
Sometimes, and I know that I'm not wrong, so I don't need you to correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
Sometimes there is a wrestler that is so white hot that they just have it.
They have to give it to him. I'll give you.
Right. And I felt like Booker T from that time period that before he got into the Triple H rivalry, he was on fire because he actually, it felt like, or it looked like that he actually got the model of how WWE worked. Right. Not a lot of them adapted to WWE's way of things. Right. Like some people will call Chronic versus Brothers of Destruction one of the worst tag matches of all time. Unfortunately, Brothers of Destruction are in another worst tag match of all time, and it just happens to have DX in it. But Chronic had a match with The Undertaker and Kane and was never seen from again. Buff Bagwell
had
was one match on Monday Night Raw and was never heard from again.
But see, here's my thing as you say that.
DDP
right?
couldn't adapt to it.
And I know where you're going. But I know where you're going with that. So here's the thing. It's just like wrestling fans last year who thought Cody was going to win. It's what I thought that was to me with Booker T. Y'all should have known who Vince was, and nobody was going to win on that stage at that time coming from that company. That's all it was for me. And that's what it was. So maybe I need to go back, and I will, right, and watch that
this
story.
This is why the show Flashback Reviews, Friday nights, 7 p.m. Chris, make it happen. Come on.
Oh, that's a possibility. I will say this. I agree with Mike that Booker T was not ready. Booker T has said that himself. But at the same time, I also will say that I think I would put Booker T over on that one. I do believe it was.
Just like
and this is the last thing I'll say about that. Besides the fact that I want to continue my WrestleMania 19 rant because I didn't get to go to the best match of the night, which was
rant on
Brock Lesnar and Kurt Angle, because that match was one of the best WrestleMania matches of all time. Kurt Angle, Brock Lesnar was just a masterpiece. But one of my biggest gripes to that match was the fact that in Hulk Hogan versus Vince McMahon, even though it didn't need to, but Hulk Hogan did 3 leg drops on Vince McMahon. The Rock did 3 rock bottoms on Stone Cold Steve Austin. Brock Lesnar did 3 F5s onto Kurt Angle. But Triple H did 1 pedigree, laid down for 5 to 10 minutes, and then went and covered Booker T and won. And that always was a big problem for me. But the match itself was good. Let's go to number 1, and I'm actually going to start off with my number 1 because, like I said, this is possibly my favorite WrestleMania of all time. Next to 28. It depends on which day of the week you ask me. But WrestleMania 17. You can't beat that WrestleMania to me. Why? Because the card, the quality of matches was up there with me as WrestleMania 19, because sometimes I can actually switch those. But Rock versus Austin, number 2, along with that video package. We always got to talk about the video package.
Yeah. The greatest video package in the history of video packagedom ever.
What he said, I can't.
Every time it comes on my Facebook, I share it every single time, and I watch it and still get goosebumps. There's not many. I'm pretty sure there are some that really. I thought actually I just watched Bray Wyatt versus John Cena for WrestleMania 30. I thought that kind of
had a good one. That was a good one too.
I mean, Bray Wyatt's voiceovers in that was really great. So. Literally vignettes. If there was a special on WWE Network or Peacock for vignettes, I would literally just watch it because I love vignettes. They speed you up, they get you ready, and yeah. So sorry.
That promo was so over and so popular. They knew they did a good job. They knew, I don't know the phrase, but they knew they were in their shit. That they actually aired that promo on SmackDown before WrestleMania. That's how much they said we got something here. Mm-hmm. But that was just a great build up. That's how the road to WrestleMania should be. WrestleMania 17 was the peak, in my opinion, of their popularity as a whole, as far as how many people watch at a time. I know some people might argue it was the 80s. Some people might say they can make an argument for now because they make the most money now. Mm-hmm. But WrestleMania 17 was the peak of their popularity, in my opinion. When people say I used to watch wrestling, that's when they're talking about. Between that and WrestleMania 2000 anyway, because that's when the ratings were the highest. But anyway, WrestleMania 17 is my number 1. Let's go down to Dice. What's your number 1? Oh, you already said it. 19.
Mine was 19. We even got to go into it.
Yeah.
So
Mike.
I'm going to say the same thing as you. And sometimes where we are great and we have great minds and we think alike. And I don't think it's even a question. If I don't go to WrestleMania 28 in person, this is my favorite WrestleMania of all time. Without question. I say it every single time. I will always say it. That TLC match for me. It just took it to a whole nother level. There's the gimmick battle royal. You can even throw that in there because the Iron Sheik and all those guys came out, and you need to have a break in such a long show to get people excited for things. But I can't say anything else more than what you already said, honestly. Just a great pay-per-view, just a great overall. And again, my favorite out of the match between the Hardys, Dudleys on them was WrestleMania 2000. That's my favorite, like my top 5 favorite match of all time. But this WrestleMania, like I said, it's arguably my number 1 WrestleMania other than me because I went to 28. It just holds a special place in my heart being there. But 17 was just, and I'm with you. I lived through every single WrestleMania where I can remember them. Not as a child. Like I've watched every one from WrestleMania 1, and I'll be at number 40 this year. Okay. This was the peak to me. I'm going to say it again. From 10 to 19, I don't think they've had a better stretch than that. You go to the first 10 to me, or the first 9. You give me WrestleMania 3. You give me 4. You give me 6. That's all I'm counting right there. You give me this
I'm
era.
a big fan of 8.
I'm going. 10 was great. I'm going. 12 was great. Which one? I'm sorry. I sometimes do get confused. Which one was Brett and Shawn for Iron Man?
12.
Match? 12. Give me 12. Give me 13. Give me 14. Only thing I didn't say this one. I'll take out 15 and Philly. Wasn't the greatest to me. Okay, I take that out. But overall, 16, 17, 18, 19.
Well, Philly's got a chance to make up for that in 9 days.
15 had no one-on-one matches. 15 wasn't that bad. But I also want to highlight this.
We talked about that yesterday, didn't we?
I always talk about one of the greatest pops I ever heard of WrestleMania was when Linda got up, and I can tell you why. Because I was there, sitting right there underneath the Ovaltron, as they called it back then, when Vince McMahon decided to slob down Trish Stratus, right? And I was begging for her ass to get up, and she didn't get up. So when she finally got up at WrestleMania, even though, you can see it coming a mile away as intelligent wrestling, especially now. I just thought it was a great moment. So between that, Rock and Austin, fun fact, they didn't have a match for Undertaker, and that's why they put Triple H in there. But that match is also gold to me. WrestleMania 17. Dice, take us out.
All right, listen. I just want to say, if y'all not watching everything on Unpopular Review, it's okay. Actually, it's not okay. But Mondays, you can catch the Mike Knox Show. 6 p.m. on Mondays night. Hey, when you get done watching Raw, catch the Monday Night Raw review. We don't know who's hosting. We don't know who's co-hosting. Somebody will be there. Sometimes Evil Dose, sometimes Executive Consultant. Executive Contradiction. Who knows? Somebody will be joining them. God, we hope it's not Vinny. Tuesday, we can go into the NXT review show. Bad Guy Jack, Wrestling Doll. Then come back on Wednesday after Dynamite.
That's how long-winded you are.
Yeah, I know, right? Wednesday, got a Dynamite show. Dan the Man, Vinny with his horrible takes, but he'll give every show a B+ and up, even though every match sucked. And then Friday, take off Friday. You know what I'm saying? Just watch SmackDown, let it marinate, let it sizzle in your spirit, and then SmackDown review show. The quickest rising show on you people. With my guy Vic.
Is he going to make it?
Yeah.
Is he going to make it?
And then Saturday night, AEW Collision Review Show. Y'all stay tuned for all that. I got it. That's cool.
Whoever put these graphics together did a great job. It's so organized. That's about all he can do.
All right. Out of here, y'all.
Oh, wow.
Peace.